Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Joni Misiak. Today is the Ask Me Anything episode. Now, this is coming a lot later than I have planned because here's the thing, life happens and there's a couple of reasons why this is landing when it's landing. And I'm hoping that it's just in perfect divine timing, but I also put myself in the way. I had these ideas where I just wasn't ready to answer the questions, or I just kind of got caught up in fear of like putting myself out there in this way. And also when I planned on doing it, then life happened. And anyways, those are all excuses. And I'm trying not to live in a place of excuses. I love Dr. Wayne Dyer's book called No Excuses. I love Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, Excuses Be Gone. And I've been really trying to embrace that part in my life. It's not always works out for me, but anyways, so no more excuses. I'm showing up for you because there's some really awesome, amazing questions. So let's dive in and do this. So the first question is from Jennifer. Actually, I'm going to do both of Jennifer's at the same time so she doesn't have to go sorting through all this all over the place. So the first question is, I often find myself being passive/aggressive. How do I learn to become more assertive? First off, I want to say how much courage and awareness you have, even just asking this question. Self-awareness is so important, and awareness is a first step towards change because you can't change what you don't know. So the fact that you're asking this question is a really big, beautiful thing. There's people out there that might act or come from this place, but not even be aware that they're doing it in the first place. So let's just take a second here to celebrate that fact. Now it's time to get your detective hat on and get down to why. Why is this happening? Have you learned this behavior from your past? Is it a coping mechanism? Or is it that you might have been spending a lot of time arguing with someone or sharing your feelings or telling people how you feel and they're not hearing you, like you don't feel heard by them? Because sometimes we just kind of give up on people, or we give up on people listening to us, or we just take this as a coping mechanism, like, oh, they're not listening or they're not caring, like let's pivot. And it might have just been this is where you've landed, right? You've been spending time in a relationship or with different people in your life, and you just kind of given up trying to convey how you're feeling. So it's really just understanding where you're coming from first. And then once you have a little bit of an idea of what's causing this behavior or why it's your default these days. If it was learned from somebody else in your life, or if it's been something you've done since childhood, or it's been a coping mechanism throughout your relationships recently. So then once you understand that, it's time to understand the emotion itself. What are you feeling and why? The emotion behind all this is really important. And then is it frustration, not being seen, not being understood? And then it's understanding, is it one person in your life that you need to be more assertive around, or is it everybody in your life? And if it's one person in your life, it's asking yourself, when did it start? If this has become a default, your knee-jerk reaction to any situation, then it's figuring out the emotion underneath the surface. And what is it trying to tell you? So it's really understanding. So let's go back for a second. Understanding why it's come up. And then how many people in your life, like, is this just you're kind of having a hard time being assertive in your life in general? And then figuring out the emotion underneath the surface and what it's trying to tell you. Now, I know this is a really deep answer, I know this is a really detailed answer, but I feel like there's so much more to this question than is on the surface. And I just wanted to kind of peel back some more layers. So I really hope this has helped. And if you're using this passive aggressiveness as a way to stay safe, it's hard for you to share and feel your emotions, then it's really looking at that first. And then once you kind of gone under the surface and hopefully understood it, and hopefully understand it a little bit more, things you can do is remind yourself that your thoughts, your beliefs, and what you need matter. So being assertive, right, is showing up in your power, being confident, and knowing that what you're asking for or what you need is like, you're deserving of that. So I hope that helps, Jennifer. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me again through email and keep asking because I love your questions. And the second one is from Jennifer as well. And this question is in regard to self-development. I am the type of person who gets bored easily. Once I learn a little bit about something, I tend to jump to the next thing and the next thing. So her question is, how do I stop doing this and just dive into something a little longer or decide if it's worth it before I jump in at all? Or is there something unique I can do with this skill? Great question again, Jennifer. I love your questions. Okay. So this is another, there's so much awesome here. Okay. So first off, I love doing so many things too. So I can understand where you're coming from. I love doing this and that. And there's so many areas of my life that I'm just like, oh, yeah, I want to learn this and I want to learn this. I want to learn this and I want to learn this. And I sometimes get overwhelmed personally because then I feel like I have too many eggs in too many baskets, right? And then something's going to get broken. It's usually me though, because I'm doing too much. So first off, let's go to the part about jumping in, like knowing if it's even worth jumping in the first place. I really think it's important to take some time before jumping in anything and really figuring out what brings you joy. And maybe you don't know what that is and that's what you're doing. You're jumping into different things and getting a feel for it. But then it's sitting down with your values and like, what do you want your life to look like? What would you like? How would you like to feel? And what would you like to be doing? And before you jump in, it's taking a minute and asking yourself, why am I going to do this? What do I want to get out of it? Maybe it's just learning a new hobby or skill, but maybe it's something different. I used to keep myself so busy because I wasn't comfortable feeling my own feelings. So I would just constantly go. And I'm not saying that's the case for you. I'm just saying be mindful of where it's coming from. And like I said, I love doing things. Like I have so many different courses I've taken, so many books I like to read. And there are times that I do stop reading it because it isn't what I need to read right now. So sometimes starting a book or an activity, it's okay to stop if it doesn't feel right at the time. It might not be the time. And you also said, like, how do you stop doing this and stick with something longer? And it really depends. You could set a goal for yourself and say, I am going to start this and I'm going to give myself X amount of time. And if I don't like it still, I'll stop. Like it's allowing yourself that room to do that, but also giving yourself enough time to figure out if you like it. I hope that makes sense. And I love that you're like, or is there something unique to do with this skill? Honestly, you could start a podcast, talk about all the things you love to do and what it's done. Or I really think you could sit with this for a little bit and just see there's so much to unpack here. There really is. Because you might just want to try new things. But then maybe you're getting distracted, right? It's the shiny object syndrome where it's like, ooh, look at this. Yes. And then you're like, ooh, look at this. Yes. And by setting a goal, saying, I'm going to read, the first 3 chapters of this book, or I am going to do this activity for this long, or, maybe you even have it where you don't do anything. You give yourself a period of grace, a period like to think about, do I want to jump into this? Like maybe a pause moment, hit the pause button and just, again, like I said, ask yourself why. And then just sit with that for a minute. There's a lot of people out there that don't start anything. So maybe for you, you just need to take a slower approach. Like just bring it back just a smidgen and just slowly think about it. But again, it really is important to come at it from a place of what are your values and what do you want to feel in life? Because then you can put those things beside the thing you might jump into. And then when you're really grounded in what you want and how you want to feel, you can make better decisions. But really, I don't think there's anything wrong with jumping into things. I can't tell you how many books I've started and stopped. And then I pick them back up again when the time is right. Sometimes in our life, things aren't like they come into our world and we think, yes, this is it. But sometimes it's like, nope, life has other plans for us. So it's learning to be okay and pivot with that. But hopefully within this, I've shared something that you can take away from this and just really just sit with yourself for a few minutes and understanding what it is you're looking for when you jump into something. And then slow it down before beginning. But it's totally something you could use. These skills are so good. I don't know exactly what you're all jumping into, but the thing is, you could do so much with all of it. So much. Because there's so many lessons in this that I'm sure you've learned or that they're in the back of your mind anyways and that you can take from. I really, really hope this helps, Jennifer. And thank you again for sending these questions in. And I'm so sorry it took me forever to get back to you on them. I'm hoping the next time I run this that I don't take forever to do them. So thank you again for your question, Jennifer. Now, another question that I've received, there's no name, unfortunately, but this is a question, is what does self-love mean to you? And how can I start practicing it? Well, this is an amazing question too, because for me, self-love is being kind to myself, embracing my flaws, or not even my flaws, my imperfections, and realizing my worth regardless of society's expectations. It's also a journey and not a destination. I really, self-love just really comes to this. Self-love equals finding ways to love yourself. And it could be, taking yourself out for a date, a me day, just sitting in quiet self-reflection for 5 to 10 minutes. It can be very simple. And at the same time, you could even go deeper and heal. There's healing that can be done because throughout our life, we can really take on other people's beliefs and thoughts and we need to do some healing around that a lot of the time. So then how can you start practicing? Well, just even asking that question. Check, you started. You're listening to this episode and you found my podcast. So that alone is really good steps. And it is really just a practice, like yoga or practicing an instrument. It's a practice. So it's not it's a one and done thing. It's about showing up daily, even if it's like a minute or two a day, 5 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you have time for and can make room for in your life. But it's taking these little moments in your life to create a deeper, loving relationship with yourself. So things you can do though, and these are really beautiful things. I'm going to share 3. Let's take out the whole when I start. Hold on. So the first one is affirmations. You can start each day with a positive affirmation. When I started, that was pretty much where I landed there. It was with Louise Hay, and she was really focused on affirmations. And it was a really good way to take a pile of negativity that was going on in my brain and reframe it to positive thinking. Because like I said, we have a lot of thoughts and beliefs that we've kind of picked up along the way throughout our childhood and even into our adult lives. And they just need a little bit of shifting and changing and reframing. So affirmations are a really good one. And then setting boundaries. So it's learning to say no without guilt. Now, this was a hard one for me. I used to say yes to everything. Everything and everything. Yes, yes, yes. Especially when I didn't think I could say no because I would hurt the other person's feelings. And I had to realize that by saying no to them, I was saying yes to me. It's about protecting your energy and prioritizing what truly matters to you. And then self-care rituals. So it's just doing things for you, engaging in activities that nourish your body and your soul. So, different things like yoga, meditation, reading a good book, EFT, so emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping, writing in a journal. That could be even a really good first step, is getting a journal, because it's pretty inexpensive and it can be like your best friend. And you don't have to do anything but write. And it could just put the date down, be like, dear journal, dear diary, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, however you want to start it. And then just share, like, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. And usually things pop up. Because when I was doing a journal entry every single day, when I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to show up every day and do this, I wanted to see how it felt. And there was days where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to write. So I'd say that. I have no idea what I'm going to write today. I'm feeling pretty good. Or, I have nothing to share. And then amazing things happened. Things just kind of came out. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was under the surface. So journaling is a really incredible tool when you're starting out. So again, I actually added 4. So affirmations, learning to set boundaries, and that's even with yourself. So knowing that you're like, I'm not going to go on social media more than like an hour or half an hour, whatever it is, right? Setting loving, healthy boundaries with yourself and people in your life. And then self-care rituals, things to feed your body, mind, and soul, and really take care of you, the whole you, the spiritual you, the personal, physical being, all of it, and your mind. So hopefully that helps you. That's a wonderful question and was loaded with answers. That was a long one. Okay. So the next one is, how can I overcome self-doubt and embrace my true self? Well, self-doubt is something we all face, but it doesn't have to define us. Here are a few things to do to start overcoming it. And remember, while doing all this, guys, with all these things, is to really give yourself love and compassion through all this, because you are on a path of self-love and getting to know yourself better. And it does take courage and understanding and love. So here we go. It's about identifying triggers. So you can keep a journal to know when and why you feel self-doubt. Understanding the root cause can help you address them. So just being mindful and then figuring out when they show up. And then the second is, surround yourself with positivity. Engage with people who lift you up. Their energy can be contagious and help you see your worth. So it's about surrounding yourself with loving, awesome peoples. That one took me a little while to get. Sometimes it's an adventure. Okay. So third is celebrate small wins. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small. This builds confidence over time. I really, really hope this helps. And that was another wonderful question. So here's another one. What is the first step to living authentically? This is another great question. Living authentically means being true to who you are, not who others want you to be. The first step is self-reflection. Take some time to ask yourself, what are my values? What makes me truly happy? And what do I want to achieve? So pretty much the same things I was saying to Jennifer earlier on with her questions. It's really understanding what makes you you and what do you want to achieve in this world. So write your thoughts down and create a vision for your authentic self. Remember, authenticity is about embracing your uniqueness. Okay, so next question. How can I deal with societal pressures regarding body image? OMG, this is a big one. Oh man. Okay. So body image is a huge topic. So I could take a whole episode on this one because it's huge and it's my world. It's my life right now. It's my life forever. It's been my life. My image has always been most of the core of my being. So anyways, it's a huge topic, especially with the constant societal pressures we face. So here are 3 things you can do. I'm going to try and leave my own being out of this one, and maybe I'll come back for a whole episode about this at some point. First is limit social media exposure. So it's about following people that promote positive body and self-acceptance. If you're following a lot of things that it's all about the body or beauty and things, it can get overwhelming. So just be mindful of what you're looking at on social media. Second of all, practice gratitude. Shift your focus from how your body looks to what it can do. Appreciate your body for its strength and capabilities. And 3, seek support. Talk to friends or join communities that nurture body positivity. You're not alone on this journey. I'm figuring it out myself, and it really is just going back to the question before too. Understand your values and focus on your uniqueness and letting all the other noise go away. And I know that can be challenging. So I hope this helps. Got to remember to do a whole episode about this because that was an excellent question. Actually, they all are. They're all excellent questions. So thank you for your questions. Another one is, can you share a personal experience about your own journey with self-love? So I have been on my self-love journey since about 2008. So it's been a journey. And like I said, it is a journey, not a destination. And oh my goodness. So I'll talk about, because there's so much I've shared so much on this podcast, and I've shared just so much in general. And like, there's been so much. I think one of my biggest self-love moments that I've experienced is when I realized that it was a journey. Because I always thought, okay, I'm going to get to this end. When I'm empowered and when I feel so in love with myself, like I'm just going to get there. So I wanted to share this part because I know I was saying how it's a journey. And it was those moments realizing that this is for life, because it's not this place to be. This is a relationship, just like any other one in my life. The relationship with my husband, my kids, my parents, it's similar to that. It takes effort and time to really get to know myself and then also heal some of those moments, right? And forgiveness, talk about forgiveness. So that moment that I realized that this isn't something to get to the end to, that it was really a practice, that I think was one of my biggest eye-opening moments. There's so many. So if you need more, you can listen to them throughout my whole podcast episode because there's a lot. So I hope that helps. But that was one of my biggest moments. I have so many though. Another one is, how do I maintain motivation on my self-love journey? This is another great question because maintaining motivation is super important, but can also be tricky. So here's a few tips you can do. And I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit here, but it's find your why. Keep reminding yourself why you started this journey. Write it down. Keep it visible. Like, what do you want to get out of this relationship with yourself? What will happen when you start loving yourself more? Be grounded in your why. Another great one is creating a vision board, visualizing your dreams and your life and how you want to live and also how you want to feel. So putting words that you want to feel or pictures that make you feel those things. And this also serves as a constant reminder of what you're working towards. And then join a community. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who motivate and inspire you. And they can also hold you accountable. And one of the places that you could do this in is the community I created. It's called the BU Community Room, and it's absolutely free. There's no social media required. You don't need to have Facebook or anything else. It's through my website, and like I said, it's completely free. And so hopefully that helps you with that question. And reading books, just immersing yourself in inspiration and motivation like as constant as you can. I was like constantly, but as constantly as you can. So listening to podcasts, listening to music that lifts you up, reading books, listening to books, watching videos or shows that inspire you to love yourself. There's so many out there and it's so amazing. So hopefully that helps. I could go on with that one forever too. And then what role does yoga play in self-love? Well, this is a beautiful thing because I love yoga and it's so true. Yoga is a beautiful practice that really nurtures self-love in many ways. It's mind-body connection. Yoga can encourage you to tune into your body and listen to its needs, promoting respect for yourself. It also quiets the mind and opens up space to really just allow yourself to figure out who you are. It also helps with stress relief and it helps reduce anxiety, allowing you to approach life with a more clear, more positive mindset. Also, it's very empowering. Even just doing the chaturangas or being in downward facing dog, feeling your muscles, like just holding your body and your hands and your feet grounded on the earth. And then the pull of the universe or the sky really bringing your backside up. Like it's really beautiful. I hope that makes sense. It's also very empowering because each practice reminds you of your strength and resilience, enforcing your self-worth. So it just feels really empowering. So I hope that helps. That was a really good one too. You guys are full of awesome questions. How can I create self-compassion? Another amazing one. You guys are amazing. Okay. Self-compassion is essential for self-love. And here's a few steps to create more self-compassion in your life. Be your own best friend. Talk to yourself as you would to a friend. Offer kindness and understanding during tough times. Also, remembering that everyone struggles. You're not alone in your feelings, which can help reduce isolation. One of the things is we can be looking at social media and thinking that everybody has more or is better at things or more ahead at things. And we get lost in that because that's all we're seeing. But we have to remember that everybody has good days, bad days, and everything in between. And it's coming from that place like, okay, I'm struggling right now, but I'm not alone in the struggles. It's not about like, haha, you're struggling too, but it's about understanding that you're not alone. And that's okay to feel things, to experience things, and have hard days. And also celebrate the big, awesome, good days. But it's remembering that everyone struggles, including myself. This is why I share a whole pile of struggles. So when you're having a bad day, go onto one of my bad day episodes or whatever else is. I've shared a lot. So it's about finding those other moments that I've had a hard time with too, because I like to share my struggles so you know you're not alone. And the next one is practice mindfulness. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment. This can help you respond to yourself with compassion rather than criticism. So it's really just being in that moment, giving yourself a hug without judgment about your day. Look at yourself as a child, like talking to yourself like your own child, or if you don't have children, talking to yourself like your inner child. Because a lot of the things, like when we're hurt, is our inner child being hurt. Something happened in our life to make us not feel worthy of something. So it's really just sitting with yourself without judgment and just be in that moment and feel, see the emotion, feel the emotion, move through the emotion, and then you can let it go. I hope that helps. So those were amazing questions. Wow, what an incredible session. Thank you for all your thoughtful questions. Remember, self-love and living authentically is a journey, not a sprint, not even a marathon. Like it's more than a marathon. It's because it's continuous, right? There was no training involved either. We're just jumped into a life and here we go. So it's about progress, not perfection. So if you found this episode valuable, please share it, invite other people to it, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, if you want to dive deeper into your self-love journey, please check out my website at jodymisiak.com for other resources, a blog. There's a lot of free content there, meditations to download. please check it out and share the love. Until next time, remember to be kind to yourself and embrace your beautiful journey. You are worthy of love, especially from yourself. Take care and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.